Hi all, I'm Adam and we're back for another indoor bouldering session. For anyone that did catch my last video, I took down my first V3 and we're making great progress. This time, we're trying out Manchester's new bouldering gym, Blochaus. Immediately, you can see this is a beautiful gym, really clean, really clear, and I'll skip ahead and tell you the routes, staff, and the overall vibe is awesome. So that's me there in the white top, but the other guy, that's my good friend Nate. This is Nate's first time bouldering, so we're going to show him the ropes and I'm going to try and pass on what I learned in the bouldering coaching classes I did recently. To kick things off, we'll start Nate on one of the pink routes, which sits around the V0 level. Honestly, pretty solid for a first climb. V0s are perfect for getting a feel for climbing without having to apply any technique or route reading just yet. So hey, well done Nate. This was quite an interesting V0 as it starts really low and has a bit of an incline / corner vibe to it. If I'm being honest, it seems like Nate is already more of a steady climber than I am. Before we move on to the fun stuff, I first had to show Nate a bit of technique for managing overhangs. If any of you are interested in learning more about that, head back to my previous video on overhangs. With Nate's intro to climbing finished, it's time to move on. Nothing about this V1 was particularly challenging, but this hold in the middle here threw me off for a moment. It can be used as an underhang, but I didn't see any real reason to. And let's just take a second here to appreciate this smooth foot swap from Nate. It was a lot of fun climbing with someone else. I'm quite competitive, so it really made me want to push more and not fall behind on topping routes. But it's also great just to have another person to bounce off of. Someone to take the focus off purely climbing and make it more of a social activity. I think this V1 is a great example of how routes always look easier from behind the camera. Despite looking straightforward, once you're up there, everything changes. I mean, sometimes I watch the Olympic climbers for too long and I start to think, I could do that. Then I get on the wall and realize how insanely strong and technical those people are. Either way, I think we can all agree Nate is doing really well for his first time. I don't think I climbed anything higher than a V0 on my first go. Now we're up to the V2s. It's routes like this that make me glad I'm pretty tall. Having extended reach certainly helps with some climbs, but with others it actually feels like a hindrance. I'll get into that in a future video, I think. Nate gave this a go, but sometimes the starting hold is enough to stop you in your tracks. In this case, you can see his footwork is just a little off, but he still gave it a couple goes regardless. Here's another example of a start to a V2 that's just awkward. I feel like a lot of these, once you get on there, it's a breeze. Also, another example of where longer reach really helps out. I'm not quite sure what the beta would be for a shorter climber, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Overhangs like this are something I've struggled with for a while. Even with great technique, it still requires a bit of strength, so despite this being a V1, I was really happy to make progress here. Plus, there's not much cooler than topping out a route. After a quick coffee break, it's time to take on the V3s. But by this point, I was starting to feel the strain on my arms. Nate, however, figured he'd give it a go. Why not, right? I'm not sure how normal it is to top a V3 on your first climbing session. But hey, it was impressive to watch and a huge confidence boost for Nate. Despite seeing it done, this route didn't get any easier. There's a pinch up there on the right and I didn't feel like there was enough support to make the next move. So on to this other V3, which is one of the more interesting routes I've tried so far. And you really need great footwork to get any kind of purchase on the wall. I felt like I had the beta down, but on some level I didn't trust the holds, and if I'm being honest, I was a tad scared of falling here. That and I was in my own head about not topping any V3s this session, so this was the furthest I made it on this route and decided to call it quits. We stuck around for a bit longer to check out the rest of the routes, but ultimately this was the end of our climbing session. So a huge thanks to Nate for joining me, and hopefully he's going to be back for some future videos. However, I wasn't happy with my progress. So the very next week, I came back to Blochaus, absolutely determined to top as many V3s as I could, including the two I struggled with previously. Unfortunately, the last one I did had been removed, so I settled for the V3 that Nate had flashed. This session, I came with a fresh mindset that I could top these V3s and that I could trust in my strength and the techniques I've learned so far. Anyway, I'm going to leave you here to watch the rest of the video. See you in the next one.